Hello, hello. We're going live. We're going live right now. Everybody should be getting a notification right now across 3 social media platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. It should say, Ian's going live. You should go live with him. And I'm going to be like, yes, come live with me. Ask your questions. Ask your questions. Of course, I don't trust the system, so I gotta check stuff, and it's not working. Today is Monday, HR Madness Day, so I'm gonna answer any and all questions about HR best that I know how. And now I'm just checking to make sure. Facebook, yes, I'm live. LinkedIn, yes, I'm live. And YouTube, yes. You know what I forgot to do? This is not number 3, this is number 4. Let's see if this updates on everything. Updating stream details. And I left one on, so there was a weird background noise. YouTube updated to 4. LinkedIn didn't appear to update to number 4. Wah, wah, wah. Wah, wah, wah. Let's see if it'll let me manually edit the post. Change it to 4. Save it. Oh yeah, okay, I had to manually update that one. And let's see if Facebook updated to 4. Yes, it did. Yes, yes, yes. All right, yeah, so this is the 4th week. 4th week we're talking HR madness. My wife's super excited over there. She knows how mad I am. Simply mad. That mad. Oh my God. My sister says, I was waiting for it. I almost started watching the World Jigsaw competition instead. Shit. That's like a commentary on how boring my content is. My own sister thinks the jigsaw competition is more entertaining than what I'm doing here. Timers and moves. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't. Must be pretty intense.
Yeah, it is super intense. They have a timer, and then everybody has to wait until they get going. Then they open the puzzle box.
All right.
They don't even just open it.
Jeez. Wow. I guess I gotta find a way to put a timer up on my screen just for the fun of it. I don't know how to do that. I can create stuff. I haven't played with it that much. Anyway, thank you. My one watcher, my big sister Joy. Okay, well, we're talking HR today. What have we talked about in the last 3 weeks? We've talked about the importance of proper pay and different levels of pay, and it's getting boring right now because I want to answer questions, but nobody asked me any really good questions. So I'm just thinking about what we can talk about today. Give me a moment, I'll take a drink of my hibiscus tea. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. So when we look at, she watched it 2 years in a row. I didn't realize I was missing it till I was checking for you. Oh no. Well, you better PVR that one, Joy. You need 2 monitors. Yeah. Watch it on TV or another device. Steal someone's phone. I know there's extra phones in the house somewhere. I should try to find it on something, and then I could like put it picture in picture, but small, so you can watch it. I don't know what streaming platforms it's on. World Jigsaw Puzzle Competition. Championship. Let's see. This is World Jigsaw Puzzle Federation. Results, contact, login. Hey, she brought up puzzles. I'm going to talk about puzzles here. Anyway, it's not Friday Fun Day, Joy. Says my wife. So, I want to talk about a little bit about my ebook, just because it's a pre-made content for me. Where'd it go? Here, this one right here. Stop Staff Drama Fast. I hate that title. I don't know why I chose that title. Anyway, it's hard to say for me. So everybody right now who's watching, say this title fast 5 times. I can't hear you. Anyway, I can check this out and we can talk about some of these topics in here if I can find it. Sorry, I didn't open it. That's the one. Let's have a look. This is a terrible screen. I don't know why it's not centering properly. Okay, let's share it. We'll go through it. I won't let you read it, or hopefully I move it fast enough and you can't screenshot and scam money from me. That's all right. Trade sides, make me smaller. This is the newest version. Oh my god, why did it do that? Oh, technology. Why don't you make everything hard on me? This is a nice one, so I can stop Staff Drama Fast. That's a terrible name. I'm sorry, that's a terrible name. I just want to make sure this is the only version. I think this is the only version I have of it, but I want to make sure I don't have the old copy open, just in case it's a newer version. Oh my god, this is a long list of documents I have. Yeah, this is the only version. I have other versions of my other ebook, but this one is the only version. So this is a quick and dirty ebook to get you doing stuff. Now, these ideas come from previous clients I've had, and I just compiled these things, and they're a little bit common sense. But at the same time, it's things you don't think about for some reason. When you're in the thick of it and you're like, oh my God, everything's falling apart, you don't think about these things. Because you're just fighting fires, putting out all them fires within your organization. So here's the list. Don't screenshot that. Why staff drama costs more than you think? Because if you have a lot going on and it's slowing down people, you're missing deadlines, you got high turnover. And we know every time you lose somebody and you have to rehire them, you're losing so much productivity, and then you have managers and HR and recruiters all having to do this additional work. Not to mention everybody who's doing that type of work you're trying to replace for, they're now doing double duty. Or worse, you, the owner of your small business, is suddenly doing a whole bunch of extra work. Instead of you trying to build your business, now you're working in your business. So, silent resentment, like you start, this is when people start quiet quitting and things like that, right? Like, if you don't have this organization set up, right? Because people, if you're too lax for too long, people absolutely resent it when you suddenly get strict, right? And start making sure everybody's following the rules. So there's this time period where your long-term employees are going to get really offended and not want to work there because you are now strict. Absenteeism, right? If you don't have a proper work environment, people start missing work. And I've experienced this myself in previous roles. You know, it's just, you get your employees in a position where they're just freaked out of going into work because the work environment's wrong. Their coworkers are not friendly, or they have a perception of you as the owner that you're not friendly, right? And the workload is too much, maybe because you as the owner or manager didn't train properly, right? There's a lot of things we let people down. Lost customers who felt the tension. I think I've been watching a lot of Restaurant Impossible episodes lately with Chef Robert Irvine, and they always talk about how their employees are so ashamed that the owners or the managers are yelling and fighting right in front of the clients, right in front of the customers who are in there trying to eat their food and trying to order their food. And this is where your customers are feeling your bad work environment. And, you know, the idea with any business is that you want the customers to come back. You want them to become repeat customers, right? So, when I talk about HR, it is geared towards businesses with under 99 employees. And a lot of time, all it takes is just that one person, that one toxic person, because you're in an organization that is small enough that everybody knows everybody in some way, shape, or form, or at least knows of them. If we're talking some big multinational organization, we have to cut it down to business groups, regional business groups, or whatever, right? Like we start piecing out the organization, and we're dealing with just the issues in that small group. Right, that one toxic person is going to push out top performers, lower morale, and dominate the workplace tone. We all been in that organization where that one person at the meeting is bitching and complaining about absolutely everything, but they don't contribute an idea. Right? I'm angry that this is this way, and I don't think anyone else feels happy about it either. Instead of saying, hey, I've identified that this at least bothers me. I don't know if it's bothering anyone else, but could we change it like this? Here's my idea. Right? You should always, if you're going to complain about something, you should always come to the table with, you should always come to the table with some sort of idea, some sort of fix. It doesn't have to be perfect. It could be a half idea. It's like, I'm thinking if we could do something like this, I just don't know how to implement that. Someone else could come out and say, hey, I've seen that work before. Yeah, let's do this, and this is how we do it. Sorry, burp. I burped. So, yeah, the cost of having a dramatic workforce or work environment can be a lot. And we always forget that there's always, okay, so you have one employee who's causing troubles, but it's causing trouble across the board. And if you're in an organization where you can't handle or historically haven't handled that bad apple, then how are all your other employees, how are your rock stars gonna feel about you and the way you handle your organization? You don't want a rock star to leave your organization. You want that rock star to be the reason that other rock stars want to come work for you. So I talk about in this ebook about it being a business issue, because it is. As an owner or manager, you set the tone in the business. You have the ability to get rid of bad apples or to hyper train the bad apples so they become a good employee, however you want to handle it. It's you. That's hard to take. I'm not saying that to be mean or saying that you don't know how to run an organization, but not everybody can be perfect at it. Not everybody knows people and the HR mechanics, and that's why I look at organizations with 99 or less employees, because they can't always afford a full-time HR advisor. What's next? Yeah, so if you realize that there's issues in your organization, it's somewhere, somehow, you're losing money. But if we're trying to spot the drama early, right, it is sometimes hard to spot the drama, and we look at these different ways of early signs, right? Frequent clicks, us versus them talk, like us here in the mailroom, this is the way we like to do things, but those people on the customer service side, they don't respect us, right? Like, that's a red flag. Body signals that, that show body language that signals discomfort. Right? We know that. And when you're in a room and you look around, usually it's that person who's like crossed arm and they're leaning back. And sometimes you're like, oh God, or just people that don't say anything during a meeting, stuff like that. Here's my sister. She made a comment. Joy again. I'm feeling sick that I might be entering into a new job, not as the manager, but as a clerk. I did this job for 12 years before. New location, but doing everything I used to do, including initial setup. Well, how do I advise my own sister? Suck it up. It is it's hard to be humble and take a step back. This is hard because we all get into that position where I have this much experience. I know I have the ability to contribute more, but to go from, being the best of the best to being just the entry-level person, it's really hard. Okay, she's talking about overlords now. She's going to be the only employee, and she still doesn't know how her overlords will be set up. It was the overlords that scared me away after 12 years. Now, you're not going to know until you take a chance. And I would say the instant you start feeling like this is just a no-win situation, continue looking for something else. You got to make the money, then you got to make the money. But I think I know which job she's talking about. And if you think you can hack it out and actually contribute, make a change, well, then don't be the manager again. That's fine. You can just take a simple role. Tell them you don't want to be the manager. But if you're getting paid to do something that you know how to do, I guess it's okay, as long as the work environment isn't too negative. I would just say you don't know until you try. And if it's something you know how to do, then why not give it another try? Maybe the managers, the board, are a different group of people, or they've learned new stuff themselves, or they're still the amateurs and don't really know the organization and you do. I would say it's not going to hurt to try, and it's not going to hurt to keep your feelers out there. Continue searching for other work if you want other work. Yeah, I said that's scary, didn't I? So my wife says, I don't know if you could hear her from that direction, but it's also scary to start a new job. No matter what job you're starting, there's always a bit of Sunday scaries, I like to call them, but it's also exciting because maybe you're learning some new stuff. Just ask lots of questions. The problem is some owners, managers perceive excessive questions as a negative, when the rock star in the organization is constantly asking questions because they're trying to find ways to be better. And if you don't ask the questions, then you can't get better. So I hope that helps a little bit, Joy. But let's see, spotting the drama early. That hibiscus tea is good, but it's kind of bitter. So I'm just gonna drink it down and get it over with. Yeah, and now she's threatening that she's moving up north. Well, yeah. But if you enjoy being someplace, then go ahead. You know, sometimes we need a real good change. When you first moved to where you live now, you came from the big city. That was a big change. Excuse me, I'm burping now. Hibiscus tea. And it's good that you've already got some sort of connection to the community you might be moving to. If it's a long distance, it's a little bit harder. I've seen recently people moving that I know. A friend of mine from university, she moved to Vancouver recently, and that was a big change because she talked about how she didn't really have a lot of connections there, and she missed her community here, her people here in Edmonton. But she did it, and she seems to be thriving despite, the occasional issue. She might overshare a little bit, but that's fine. Let's see. Spotting the drama early, right? We talked about the clicks, the body language. A good employee suddenly disengages. That's your rock star. If you notice all of a sudden your rock star is doing normal levels of work that everyone else would do, that's a red flag. Minor issues escalate into big blow-ups. Yeah, the city can be hard sometimes. I know the first time I moved to Edmonton, it just beat me up. I didn't have any real connection or support at that time. I was living with a friend and couldn't find a job to save my life. When I did find a job, my car broke down twice, and I ended up missing out on opportunities. But when I moved to the city the second time, I actually quickly found my wife real quick, and she became my support. What? That book? Oh, is that... Yeah, Joy, I think you gave me... That's my big sister Joy here, who's been chatting on the YouTube. She gave me a book that was all about building your online dating profile. So, in the early 2000s, people were... it was a major taboo. Anyone who met online on some sort of dating website, they just flat out lied and said, oh, we met some other place or whatever, because nobody wanted to talk about that. They were using the internet to find love. And, this was 2007, 2006 or something that I got a hold of that book. I'm pretty sure it's Joy who gave it to me. Unless I just purchased it from Amazon. I don't know. I don't remember. Okay. I thought it was Joy too. Anyway, so I did up my profile based on this book, and I ended up finding my wife on Match.com. So, and here's a link to Match.com. Just kidding. It was very helpful, and it was very interesting. And we we happily tell our friends and family that we met on on Match.com. It's just a whole different world. I don't know. I mean, if you meet on one of them hookup apps, that's a different thing, where you're swiping right and swiping left to if you met on one of those hookup sites and you found love, I think that still might be a little taboo to be talking about. But yeah, we met on Tinder. Like, and it really, the stigma still is that it's just a hookup site. So, but a real dating site like Match.com, they have a lot of questions that they ask and demographic information, and it really can match you up with people that are similar, that you would get along with. It's really powerful. I bet you, with the age of AI that we're going into, I bet you Match.com and these other dating websites are even better. They're probably even better. Probably eerily better, because the AI just knows. Anyway, right. Minor issues escalating into big blowups. I went into some training one time, and they talked about the pinch. And this is the pinch situation. So the pinch is where you do something or say something and you don't realize sorry, that was big burp. When you do something or say something to a coworker, even a spouse, whatever, and you don't realize, you have no clue, you're completely oblivious to the fact that whatever you did hurt them in some way, affected them in some way. Now, that initial pinch, well, it's probably not too bad. Let's take an example. Every morning you walk into the office and the receptionist is already there, and you say good morning every morning without fail. Every morning. Good morning, good morning. Hey, how's it going? Good morning. Even when you're in a bad mood, you're like, oh my God, the traffic was terrible. Good morning. Like you say something. Well, this particular morning, everything goes wrong. You got a flat tire. You end up leaving the house late because the bathroom flooded or whatever, right? And you're so concentrated on that contract that you needed to get done right away. So you just walk by reception this morning. You don't say hi to anybody who's out there. You're just like, oh my God, I gotta remember to get this done. So you get in, you finally get your day started, and it's a busy day. You're go all day, and then 5 minutes before you're about to leave, reception walks into your office and closes the door and says, hey, what's your problem? Why have you been treating me this way today? And you're just like, what? Like, what happened? Like, you're just like, I have no idea what happened. So from the reception point of view, you walked in mad, stormed by their desk, and didn't say good morning. And reception has spent the whole day wondering what they did to make you mad, and it just blows up into this big giant thing in their minds, right? Because they got pinched first thing in the morning, and now they're coming for the reckoning. And you're just like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Meanwhile, reception has built up this big story that they might be getting fired. Whatever they said to you yesterday angered you, and things like that. So that's the pinch. That's a minor issues escalating into big blow-ups. And it's hard for us to realize that we're pinching people, whether in personal life or in work life. Joy says there's more scammers with AI on dating sites now. Well, and that's the thing about AI. At some point, you know, with the power of AI, we're not going to know if somebody's real. Within the next year or two, AI is going to be so good that you won't be able to tell if it's me actually in this video or if I've decided to just create a bunch of AI videos and post them online. Right? You're not going to be able to tell. They're going to be that good. They're going to be that authentic. Right now, you can kind of tell with some of these AI videos, and you're not sure if it's real or not. It sounds a little bit robotic. The image looks pretty good, but it's almost too good. Right? We're at that point where we've probably consumed content online, especially YouTube. There's the faceless channels or whatever like that. And there's a lot of creators starting to just toy with the idea of just generating an image of themselves. You know, that's happening right now. So we're not going to know if it's a real person or if it's AI. But the thing is, if I've generated an AI and I say, buy my ebook, stop staff drama fast, buy my ebook, and it's the ebook you're looking at, it's the content you're looking at of that ebook. What does it matter if you purchased it because it was a live video of the owner of the seller, excuse me, or if it was a completely AI generated person, right? It's almost a non-issue. Who cares if it's AI selling you something or if it's an actual person selling you something? It's still the thing that you're getting. Now, Joy's concerned with being on AI scammers. I always felt that there were scammers on the dating sites, and I think with AI, they will help root out more of these scammers, but the scammers are still going to be there. They're still going to get good, and I think it's particularly harder for females to be on a dating site because they get so many messages compared to the men. I remember reading that dating book, that online dating book, and it talked about how some women should just remove their photos and it would be just them in the content. So it was interesting to read that section and how it was, you know, a woman that men perceive to be good looking, or whoever their partners might be, whatever the site may be, right? The person looking at the photo might think you're exceptionally beautiful, and you know, you're getting sleazy connections. That's always going to happen. But it was interesting that the book said these types of people should remove their photo, right? And then only the people that are really looking will take the time to read the profile and things like that. But that book is now almost 20 years old, and so there's going to be new rules. There's going to be new ways to fight the scammers. And just because someone is using AI doesn't mean they're a scammer. But in this particular case, why is someone using AI to create an online dating profile, right? It's very questionable. That being said, in the future, people are going to have relationships with AI, and intimate relationships, however that might manifest itself with technology, and it's just going to happen. I mean, I just think of the movie AI with Haley Joel Osment and oh god, what's his name? I forgot his name. Anyway, his character is Joe. He's this he's the sex robot, right? And everybody's calling him Jude Law. Yeah. What do you know, Joe? That's kind of what people talk to him. That was just like his tagline. And right, they were who's to say, like, these AIs, they were very real. Why wouldn't we have a relationship with a construct, right? So it's a changing world. It's a different thing. This cheek looks swollen over there. Anyway, I think that's just my hair in the back. Yeah, that's better. So I think Joy talking about AI scammers. Yeah, there's always going to be scammers. No matter what we do, there's going to be scammers, and the scammers are getting better. So we have to be careful for sure. And again, with the dating websites, anyone who immediately says, let's take the conversation off the platform, that's a big red flag. Because we're looking for safety. Communicate on the platform for as long as possible. And men in particular, you should be the ones to share your information first. Here's my email address. If you want to chat offline, here's my email address. But if you're not comfortable, don't share your email address with me. Or better yet, go set up a new Google email and you're just using it to communicate with this person. That's the safety. And certainly don't be sharing your cell phone right away. And, kind of really ask those deep questions to get to know the person before. And certainly, if the person is listed as not being in your town or nearby, then that's a red flag, right? It's like, hey baby, I'm from Australia. I'm like, why are you connecting with me? You're nowhere near me, right? So, okay, I could talk about AI a lot more. There's some love-hate going on with AI right now. Because we don't understand it, we don't know it. And we also have some environmental impacts with AI because it is so energy intensive to run those computers and to cool those computers that are running the AI software. How do we reconcile this amazing technology that has both good and bad uses, but also needs a lot of power to cool it down, right? So how do we reconcile that stuff? And I think with everything, it's just stages. We get more computing power, we create more power. We get more computing power, we got to create more power, right? We gotta stage it in. And a lot of these cooling systems, they use fresh water. So we are using and contaminating local freshwater sources. How can we mitigate that? How can we reuse? How can we come up with a different cooling system? Right? Anyway, I digress. Spotting the drama early. Here we go back again. Employees start withholding feedback. Your employees, if you're the manager or owner, right, you should be asking them for feedback all the time, and they should not be scared to give it. Because the feedback is like, how can I explain this? If Making sales and generating revenue is your primary meat and potatoes of your business. The feedback is your micronutrients, your vitamins, and things like that, right? You can survive for a while on meat and potatoes, but eventually you're not going to be very healthy. So the feedback is that supplement that helps your organization to be healthy. So feedback is so important. I can't stress it enough. If you're got your blinders on and you're not asking for feedback, or you're not going outside of your group to outside people, outside information, you're not properly growing. You're missing out. It's like people who have their head in the sand right now and they're not learning AI. You're going to be left. I'm a big Green Party supporter. Yes, I am. But at the same time, AI is a tool that's here. And regardless if you individually say, I don't want to use AI because it's power intensive, resource intensive, then you're going to get left behind anyway. Right? It's a very hard place to be. So in my case, I want to support AI because I know how powerful it is. It's going to take us into the future. When you think of AI, it's like the internet itself changed the world. It's like TV, it changed the world. It's like radio, it changed the world. It's like the telephone, it changed the world. It's like electricity, it changed the world. But on all those steps, we literally demonized it. When electricity first came in, people didn't want electricity in their house because they thought electricity actually had demons in it. So they didn't want it in their houses. So, but there was fighting for all these different things. And how many organizations lost when a major technological change happened because they were unwilling to adapt? Right? When you think about the vehicle coming in, the horse and carriage companies, how many of them said, oh, vehicles are a fad, we're going to continue with our horses and our carriages? How many of them said that and didn't survive? How many of them said, oh, vehicles, let's add those to our fleet, let's start a taxi company? And then they won. Right? How many horse and carriage businesses turned into Chevy dealership, a Ford dealership, right? How many candle companies didn't get proper feedback from the world? And they said, no, everybody needs candles. Power is just a fad and it's got demons. So we're going to continue making just candles. Right? So how many candle companies lost out after electricity started going into homes? How many candle companies said, we're going to start making light bulbs, right? And our candle sales will help us fund the light bulb research, right? It's just these things we're gonna miss out on because we're not getting the feedback properly, whether it's from our employees, whether it's from our customers, whether it's from our stakeholders, whether it's from my older sister Joy or the world in general. You need to be getting feedback. Passive aggressive comments in meetings. You know that person. That's the negative person in your organization. They speak up at meetings, and they are negatively affecting your whole organizations. Because when you look at the spectrum of employees, you have most of your employees in the middle are your backbone. They don't really complain. They're not rock stars. They're not negative or positive. They're just there to do their job. But then you have the people on the fringes. You have the outspoken negative people and the outspoken positive people. So the negative people, that's what we're talking about here. They're trying to affect all the people in the middle to agree with them. Oh, this isn't going to happen. Management won't do that. They never follow through on their stuff, right? And then everybody in the middle is like, oh yeah, we agree. But then you have the positive people who are like, this is a great change. I think we can give them some feedback to help them make it even better. And then the people in the middle are like, oh yeah, we can do that, right? Or people in the middle always kind of lean to either side. So you want as many positive voices, that people that speak out in your organization as you possibly can. Gossip replaces direct communication. We know this. Again, that comes back to the clicks, right? You're talking to everybody in your office. Oh my God, that manager isn't good at the job. Or why doesn't management do something about Wendy? She's a terrible employee. She's always messing things up, right? And then the manager hears word. There's all this hearsay about Wendy not being a good employee. And instead of trying to shut down the gossip and directly talking to Wendy about it, the manager goes to Wendy and says, hey, you're doing a bad job. If you don't shape up, we're gonna fire you. Right? And Wendy's like, what the shit's going on, right? Wendy doesn't know what's going on. She's just trying to do her work the best she knows how, right? All of a sudden, management is stomping on her. And you don't want to surprise your employees with something bad, right? The first step is, hey, Wendy, do you have any questions? Is there any place that we can help you or train you better? Where do you feel the least supported? How can we help you? That's the role of a manager. That's the role of the supervisor. That's the role of the owner. Getting deep and dirty and saying, how can we help? How can we get on the ground with you to support you in your role, your job, your tasks? I guess I shouldn't have chugged that tea. Now I'm just all burpy. And so, really, God, it's kind of warm in here, so I think I'm sweating. Anyway, you got to shut down the gossip. You got to find out what's really going on and teach everyone else in the organization that they need to communicate with each other. I think about, we first talked about the pinch earlier and how that reception person just built up a big story and got angry all day and then burst into the person's office who didn't say hi to them at the end of the day. Well, how about reception after 5-10 minutes you run by their office and you say, hey, I saw you came in a huff and puff, and is there anything I can help you with? And it could have been resolved there. They could have been like, oh, I'm sorry, I had to get this email out and my tire was flat, and you could have also went to their office and said, good morning. And they would be like, oh my God, good morning. I didn't say good morning to you. I hope you have a great day. Like, it was a non-issue. because you weren't communicating. Now imagine if reception had gone around all day talking to people. Oh, why didn't Ian say hi to me when he came in? What do you think there's something wrong? Do you think he's mad at me? Or where's she at? Oh, that Ian, he's just a a-hole and he's always being mean to me, right? Like all of a sudden these stories get big. Checklist. Again, we're talking about spotting the drama early. Signs you have a drama problem. Staff avoid each other or certain people. Gossip is more common than honest feedback. Someone always seems to be in a conflict. You hear, that's not my job, or I don't know. Often your team splits into groups, cliques, or camps. A previously good employee is not withdrawn. Morale drops when a particular person is present. That's bad. Customers sense tension or attitude from staff. Oh, if you check one or two, you have a culture leak, I like to call it. Let's patch that up. I think the big thing that people, business owners, managers, everybody hates confrontation. And if the confrontation, we hear the word confrontation is a bad thing, but I mean, we've got to communicate before it becomes a confrontation, right? So if you can hit the communication when it's a small confrontation, I mean, that's gonna go a long way. Right, it says right here, because they don't want to fight. But you don't need to have a fight if you can get to it as soon as possible. Name the behavior, not the person. So, hi Wendy, I see that you're doing XYZ this way. I know a lot of organizations do it that way, and I think I would like to get your feedback on why you think doing it this way is better or something, right? Like we're talking about the thing and how it's done, right? We're not saying, Wendy, I think you're a bad person, or Wendy, I don't think you're smart enough to do this job, or, right? You're not really laying blame on that person as a person, as an employee. You're saying, this is the behavior we're seeing. How can we improve it? Right? Stay calm, brief, and confident. Oh, don't beat around the bush. Hey, Wendy, I want to talk about this situation. That's it. It's not like, hey, how you doing today? How are things going? What'd you do on the weekend? Did you hear Ken's having a birthday party next weekend at his house? Or what? Like, Jesus, just get to the point. You know, we talk about the sandwich method. Good news, bad news, good news, bad news, right? But if you're addressing one thing, it's hard to make a sandwich sometimes. But it's like, hey, Wendy, you got such a great personality. I see you're having issues struggling with this. How can I help, right? Like, it's kind of, you can kind of sandwich that in. But don't draw it out. Just do it. Just tell them, I got an issue here. Focus on the outcomes, not the personalities, right? If in reality, if you do have a person who's a little bit grumpier, not exactly a team player, but they get the job done and they're getting the tasks done, the projects done, everything's getting done. They might be the lone wolf in the organization, so you kind of just let them do their work. But it's hard to say to someone, hey, you got a bad attitude and we want you to be happier. I mean, nobody's going to be happy at work. I mean, just avoid their personality. Concentrate on the tasks, the jobs, the work. And it's hard for us to do that because we kind of put people's personalities and their work selves as it's one entity, right? And it's hard for us to say, hey, I really like Wendy, but Wendy's doing a terrible job, right? It's kind of like, I like Wendy, so I don't care what work she's doing, we're just going to keep her there, right? It's hard for us to say Wendy's the most amazing, friendly person in the office, but I'm going to have to fire her because she can't get her work done. My God, that was a rambly chant. What I'm trying to say is, even if your best friend is working for you, you've got to confront them and say, you're not getting the work done. How can we help? And it's always got to be, how can we help? How can I help? How can we get you better at this? And I got some nice scripts here. When addressing the gossip, when dealing with negativity, when two employees are clashing, what not to say. Don't be dramatic. That's just how they are. I'm too busy for this, right? Negativity. I noticed the tone in some conversations has become more critical than constructive. Can we focus on solutions here? Now, this is kind of at the board meeting, at the meeting, staff meeting, right? Addressing gossip. I've heard a few things being said that should be direct conversations. I expect us to speak with each other, not about each other. If you have any issue, come talk to me directly. Right? Again, this is that announcement at the meeting type thing. Two employees are clashing. It seems like there's tension here. I'd like to hear from both of you calmly. Let's work this through respectfully, right? And I've had to do this a few times as HR. I think I was trying to address this earlier. It should be the role of the supervisor or the manager to deal with these things. It is not the role of HR to deal with these things. HR is there to support. Excuse me, still burping. HR is there to support the supervisors and the manager in doing this. This is the supervisor or manager's job. This is their role. This is what they're supposed to be doing. HR is just there to back them up and to give them advice and to help them through the process. But HR shouldn't be in the room when this is happening. HR has such a negative image that as soon as HR enters the room, everybody gets their backs up and it turns into something bad. If you get called into the HR office and the general manager is there and the assistant general manager is there, this is a terrible place to be. An employee should never get into that situation. And it makes HR have to work twice as hard. Because, I like to joke, HR, I'm heavy, I'm coming in, I'm pounding out that situation. And that's exactly what everyone thinks. If you're talking to HR, that's bad. It doesn't have to be. It shouldn't. I always say, if I'm involved, then it's a very bad situation. Or the situation is long term and is finally escalated to where the supervisor or manager has requested HR. So if it's that long term situation and HR finally comes in, that might mean that the supervisor managers are not being effective enough. And if it's a big sudden thing, so I don't know, I don't even have an example. Someone keeps, over a short period of time, they're damaging equipment or something like that, right? Like organizations, at least here in Alberta, we're not allowed to charge the employees for a dropped plate at a restaurant or something like that, right? But that can go on your record. And if you continue to drop plates or just break equipment, then the employee can say, or the employer can say, we're going to have to let you go. I mean, it's terrible when you have to get fired because you were clumsy, right? Think of Jar Jar Binks getting banished from his home because he was clumsy. That's a terrible place to be. I think I rambled again. I lost track of everything. Anyway, here's some advice on what not to say. You're being dramatic. That's just how they are. I'm too busy for this, right? If your employee comes to you and you're the supervisor, the manager, the owner, whatever, you need to take that seriously and you need to give them the time. If you're not giving them the time, that's a giant red flag, and that's how your whole organization is going to operate. And that's just negativity going right down the corporate ladder, right? We know what goes downhill, and that's the shit, right? There shouldn't be that. You need to make time. If someone is honestly coming to you for some reason, you need to just give them the time right there, right then. Don't reschedule them or anything like that. Because they finally got the courage to come to you if it's something bad. So you don't turn them away. If you turn them away, it's basically saying, I don't care about you, go get a different job. That's exactly what they're going to do. So, what do we do here? We got why staff drama is costing you money, spotting the drama early, how to address drama without confrontation. You got communication and early, right? If you get any sort of wind of some issue that might be brewing, you got to address it right away, because this stuff doesn't go away. This stuff grows. Removing the oxygen from the gossip. Gossip thrives in silence. It grows when no one addresses it and no healthy communication exists. So that's exactly what I said. You've got to address it. To shut it down, model transparency yourself. You as the owner and the manager. I mean, that can be hard, but you got to do it. Because what you do is giving signals to the whole organization about how business should be done within the organization. Set expectations clearly. Right? You need to do this by this time. You need to get this number by the end of quarter. Wait, like whatever. You needs to be as specific as possible so that people can say, yeah, I'm done. And setting expectations, that also means not gossiping. That also means giving me feedback, right? Like whatever the expectation is, it's got to be clear. Praise directness and solution-focused talk. Yes, Wendy, thank you for bringing that up. Do you have any other ideas to help us with that issue? right? Good job. Thanks, Wendy. Thanks, Peter. Thanks, Paul. We're not going to rob from one to steal to pay the other anymore. Right? If you're in that meeting and people are being positive and being solution focused, absolutely give them some praise. Now, be aware about public praise. Some people don't like it. Some people actually feel humiliated that you would point them out. So you can keep it. If you know somebody, like, you got to get to know the people in your organization. So you can say, oh, thanks, Wendy, that's great. And then later on, you go to Wendy and say, Wendy, I really appreciate you speaking out. You've been really amazing in helping us come up with ideas to solve this problem, right? Like, a little more praise in private for that person. Now, if you know someone that they're just looking for accolades, right? You can be like, everybody have a big round of applause for Wendy. This is amazing what she just came up with. She's gonna be getting a gift card and a vacation to Bora Bora, right? Some people want that. Some people want that public praise. Other people, your introverts, your precious introverts, they don't want that. They just want a quick, thanks, Wendy. And then they do want to be noticed one-on-one. Create a norm. Talk to the person, not about them, right? It's like, oh, Wendy's doing a good job. Or, I mean, but I told her that, right? Like, you go to Wendy first and say, Wendy, you're doing an amazing job. I love the way you speak out at meetings. Please keep doing it. Then you can go talk about Wendy and say, oh, Wendy's doing a great job. But I think what I mean here is if Wendy's got a problem or there's a negative issue, I'm talking to Wendy first. I'm not talking to all the managers and the other employees saying, Wendy's not doing very good, is she? Or, I don't know why I hired Wendy. She's not doing a very good job. You should be going to Wendy first. Hey, Wendy, I noticed that we're having some issues. Do you need more support? Do you need some more help? Right? And it's a totally different ballgame. And I've had managers coming to me and they're wanting me to solve the issue just because I'm HR. And it's not my issue to solve. You as the supervisor, you as the manager need to address that issue. That's your job. You've got that title. Only use the word manager for someone who has a high level of responsibility to manage the employees. Not someone who's, I hate the term account manager. It means nothing. It means you're a customer service person, right? But you're not managing people. Management is always left for someone who manages people. I just can't stress that enough. If they're not managing people, you've got other words. You can be account coordinator, senior account person, like whatever. Like, it's if they're not managing people, they shouldn't have the title or a title with the word manager in it. And it's because as soon as you put on that manager title, it means there's certain responsibilities that this person has to cover. So you see sales manager at like car dealerships. They're not actually a manager. They're just like a senior salesperson who supervises one or two other salespeople. Maybe. But all your salespeople could be called sales managers. And the finance manager. Once you once you agree on the car you want to purchase and for what price, you're talking to the salesperson, the sales manager. The salesperson is talking to their manager, their sales manager. I mean, why are you talking to a manager about sales? Right? Like, no, the senior salesperson, that's who you're talking to, not the sales manager. Because the sales manager has nothing to do with sales. They're managing the people. And going to the finance manager to finalize your car, no, you're talking to the finance coordinator or finance clerk or something like that. You're not actually talking to the finance manager. There's it's a different level. The word manager, don't use it unless you're managing people. Oh my god, I was out again. Here's a checklist for you. How to shut down gossip tactfully. Is that right? Yeah, taken. So don't ignore it. Acknowledge it calmly. Address it early and privately. Hey Wendy, I hear you've been talking a lot about Paul, and what's going on there? Is there some issue that we can deal with? Right? Ask questions. Where did you hear that? Or have you talked to them about it? Wendy, I hear you've been talking negatively about Paul quite a bit. Where did you hear that? Did you talk to them directly about that? Right? Set a team rule. We don't gossip here. We solve problems together. And that's the thing, all right? We're all in the same organization. We're trying to get to a certain group goal. So why are we competing with each other? That's strange. Redirect gossipers. Let's focus on what we can control, right? Praise employees who handle conflict maturely. Paul, I know Wendy might have said a few things about you, but I appreciate that you haven't retaliated or whatever, right? Like, that might be a little bigger conversation, but keep your conversations professional and no vetting down the ladder. So, or venting down the ladder, right? We find ourselves in a position where in the hierarchy we should only vent up, right? We shouldn't vent down, because as soon as you vent down, these people aren't, I'm not saying they're not trustworthy enough, but they assume that they are also allowed to vent down, right? So, I'm gonna be right back. I gotta run to the washroom. 12:49. Give me 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I'm back. I'm sure nobody left. So we're still talking about stop staff drama fast, and I'm just kind of going through it. If you want to purchase it, that scan right there, or if certain platforms, it will put the link in the chat. All right. Did we get through all this? And it was 4 minutes. I'm sorry, it was 4 minutes. Bathroom break. Yeah. So this is kind of a big thing. Now this is just, like I say, this ebook is quick and dirty. Gets the basic stuff out there. But there's a lot of long-term stuff that you have to continue to work on, so you don't go back to this negative place. Right, your tense and hostile workplace. So here's 5-day culture reset. It's short, it's simple, but it might actually be hard for you. Day 1. In a quick team meeting, set the tone. We're going to shift how we communicate here. Everyone deserves a respectful, calm place to work. Day 2, talk privately with your most significant drama source with calm clarity. Use one of the scripts up in section 3. Day 3, reinforce positive behavior in public. I appreciate how you handled that issue today. You have a great tone and ownership. Right? You have to do some sort of praise. And again, I make sure you identify your precious introverts and make sure you don't overpraise them in public. Day 4, remove old triggers. Reorganize roles, clarify responsibilities, post a simple how we work together agreement on the wall or the intranet, your internal network. And sometimes reorganizing the roles a little bit and just clarifying responsibilities, oh my God, this goes a long way, because we sometimes have, maybe I won't sugarcoat it, most times we have terrible onboarding processes, and it's rushed, and people aren't supported properly. If you want to be able to use that 90-day, no questions asked firing period, the probation period, if you want to use that correctly, you need to properly be training and onboarding your new employees as quickly as possible, so you can identify if there's going to be an issue. After a month and a half, you should be able to tell if someone is going to work out or not. If there is still doubts, either with with your thoughts, or you're hearing it from your trusted managers who've proven themselves already. If you're hearing that doubt, then you have two options. Just cut them loose, or try to address it one last time and say, look, these are our concerns. We need these areas improved, or else we will have to let you go, right? Like, you really need to address the issues right away. Day 5, celebrate the shift. Doesn't need to be big. It's coffee, a thank you, or a short note showing progress. Remind your team you're on the right path. Let's keep it going. So you could say this was day one was Monday. Hey everyone, this week we're going to try to make some changes. Everyone deserves a respectful and calm workplace, right? So we're going to work on this week. Day two, you're addressing that hard source, right? That one person or that couple people that really concern you with the drama and the toxic workplace issues. And this squirrel next door keeps running up and down the fence. He's just going back and forth, back and forth. Right? And that was Tuesday. So Wednesday, you're reinforcing that positive behavior in public. And day 4, Thursday, you're removing the old triggers. Now you've worked this week and you've identified the roles that might need changing or clarifying and things like that. So now you announce that. And Friday, I love Fridays, but at the same time, we shouldn't love Fridays. We should love our job. We should love our work environment. Friday should be like, oh no, 2 days, I'm not going to be able to see my friends for 2 days because I'm at home, right? Like that shows that you got a good job, right? If you're thinking that on Friday. But certainly being able to do something to celebrate with your team. And then you're going to continue this process almost weekly until everything's rainbows and butterflies and unicorns. What's next? Yeah. So like I say, this is that initial shock, we're trying to make changes. It's that first step. It's, getting your foot in the door to start showing to your employees that you're trying to make a difference in the organization. Now you really need to walk the talk, right? And this really, the rest of this could take months or even years. Be prepared. But you need to keep working positively and showing your employees of the positive change. So a couple things are going to happen as you're trying to build this trust and make these changes. You hopefully discover some extra rock stars that have been hiding in your organization, because now they feel comfortable coming out of their shells and actually contributing and actually doing more because they feel happy about being there. The other thing that's going to happen is you're going to start noticing the negative people in your organization, and they're going to start pushing back even harder. Eventually, these negative people, these negative Nellies, they're going to finally realize that you are walking the walk, and they're going to fall into line. This could be hard. This could take a long time. On the other hand, they may leave the organization on their own, or because of your new improved happy organization, you may be in a situation where you identify them as a problem because they're not doing the work and they're no longer the team players, and you may end up firing them. But in either case, whether they leave on their own, well, no, there's nothing you can do about it. If someone leaves your organization because you're trying to be a good organization, you don't want them there. So it's a good thing they leave. They're going to go find someplace else where they're going to thrive. and be in an environment where they can be a good person, right? It's not helpful. That squirrel again. It's not helpful to keep someone in an organization just because you're scared to fire them or whatever, right? Like, if they're not working out, you got to get rid of them. And I don't say you just fire people. Again, you give them the how can we improve process, and then the disciplinary process after that, right? There's 2 levels to moving someone out of the organization. You really got to try to keep them in the organization and try to help them. And that's where you might have to let someone go. But by the time you let someone go, hopefully they're leaving with an understanding that they did their best and you gave them all the support they needed, but they're still not getting it and they're leaving. And hopefully they're not leaving mad. They're that employee where it's like, yeah, I'm sorry, Ian. I really tried to get this job done, and I just couldn't. So, yes, I understand why you're letting me go, right? And you want that person to leave and sing your praises at their new organization, wherever they are. Yeah, I worked for Ian. He was really good at training. He really tried hard to make it work out for me, but I just couldn't get it. I just couldn't get that right. But I would say anyone who's entry level, they should go work for Ian, right? You want that. You want that sort of thing. Now, I'm going to stop sharing this, because we went through this whole ebook. Now, if you're lucky enough to watch this, it means really technically you don't have to pay the $7. You don't have to support me. I don't need food or grocery money. If I die on the street but giving good HR advice, I guess that's my lot in life. Buy the book if you want, then you can see it all. And you get a discount on my fuller ebook that's I think it's like 40 pages long or something like that. But it's a lot more detailed and in the long-term process to keep this going. This is just that quick, I don't even want to say it. I don't know. It's a quick, sudden process to try to contain this. Once you've done this, you need to continue keeping your organization healthy, and that's the longer process. So what I was thinking of, I thought of an old blog post I wrote, and I want to open it up. It's a real nifty chart that I just love. Open the window, my website. Give me a moment. I've got to find it. I think it might be hard to find. Is this the one? Here's the one. Okay, I'll share this one though. I just love this chart. Yes, I did create this chart myself. Move it over there, and then let's adjust the screen. Doesn't have to be that ginormous. The role of human resources. So we follow these green arrows. An organization is basically made up of 3 things: owners and managers, the employees, and human resources. Human resources exists kind of outside of the organization proper. When you think of the organization, we do X, Y, Z, and here's our managers and here's our employees who do that job. That's it. But HR, I'm gonna move this because it's kind of covering the screen. Yeah, so we can see the full picture now. So at the top circle is human resources. And then we follow the green arrows, the path of learning. Human resources job is to advisor to leadership and leadership training, right? It's almost like the confidant of the managers, supervisors, and the owner, so that you can help the owner in all things employees, right? But HR also supports soft skill training. So HR says, we're doing a new training on how to use this software, right? And or we're giving everybody training on how to be better at their customer service, right? It's kind of one-off trainings. It's not continual training. It might be continual training, but it's not on the ground. Like this HR person isn't going to the employee and sitting with the employee directly to say, this is how you do your job. Because that's not HR's job. HR job is to skill you up, right? And deal with issues that come up. But we look at the owners and the managers, still following the green arrows. Their job is to show leadership and to do the hard skills. So the owners and managers are the ones on the daily, giving you daily training. Just want to make sure just checking to see if there's any comments anywhere that I might be missing out. There's just lots of comments from my big sister Joy on YouTube. So it is the owners and managers who are in the daily grind training the employees. That's their primary job, to make sure the employees are getting their job done. And all three, human resources, owners and managers, and the employees, this is the blue arrows. This is the path of the feedback that I talk about. All three groups are giving feedback to the middle, which is, right, the feedback, the plan, the brainstorm. They create, they unite, they strategize, the culture and team building, like all that comes from all three sources. And that in the middle, that's where the synergy happens. And then we follow the orange arrows. I guess on this they kind of look yellow. That's the path of growth. All the stuff we've learned and contributed and synergized in the middle now goes out to how HR supports the managers and the employees, and it also, gives support to the owners who are helping the employees. So it's this so it's almost a flywheel situation where, as long as everybody's doing their job and these three roles, they're learning, they're teaching, they're giving feedback, and they're growing by taking on the new learnings, right? As long as they're doing that, then this system keeps going. It's some organizations, they stopped taking feedback from employees, and they stopped listening to HR, and it becomes distorted. Like the owners and managers aren't taking advice from HR anymore. They're just expecting HR to deal with just the employee issues, right? And the owners and managers, well, let's not give leadership, like, that's where HR, right? This thing, it becomes lopsided, and it's just the owners and the managers giving feedback. But, you know, the feedback, the growth arrows are useless now. So I wanted to talk about that because I love that little chart. And it kind of explains a lot, because I've been in situations where the managers seem to think it's HR's role to police the employees. It's not. HR's role is to support the managers in training the employees so that policing is not needed or it's minimized. Policing in an organization should be, I don't want to say disguised, but it should be replaced by feedback and training. What's going on, Wendy? I see there's an issue. How can I help? What's going on? Oh, Wendy, we have some great training that can help you with that. Please take it. I'll make sure we'll set you up for that, right? Like, that's... Now Wendy's like, oh, I feel supported. I don't feel so bad about coming in on Monday morning anymore. Right? Wendy will stop being late on Monday morning for this reason. There's a million other reasons why Wendy might be late on Monday mornings. But it could get reduced because she's not dealing with the Sunday scaries and dreading the Monday morning. The return to this oppressive, dark environment. Like, that's not something that a person can deal with in a sustained sort of way. They need to get out of these dark places. And it's just so important that everyone understands this flywheel. I put HR at the top just because I'm part of HR. We could have put owners and managers on top, or we could have put the employees on top. But I'm HR, so I'm on top. But HR is a distinctive group. They're kind of always grouped as owners and managers and management, especially in organizations that might have unions, because they're an opted out group. Because in large organizations, we know HR tends to be more just an offshoot of management. Smaller organizations, a good HR person can advise their owner or their manager and really help direct the organization to prevent the formation of unions. I'm not talking union busting. I'm talking about just being such a great organization that people want to work for you, and they're not fighting for a good wage. They're not fighting for a sick day or whatever. They're not fighting for shorter hours, or they're not fighting for weekends or stat holidays off, right? Like all these things, they matter. And if a small organization can deal with them properly, better than a larger organization, then the threat of unionization is going to be decreased. What's that saying? Kill them with kindness. That's what you want to do. Prevent the union because you're such a great organization. Oh yeah, this blog post, it's a little bit older, but it still holds weight, and it explains the whole situation. So that might be something that you want to look at. Maybe I'll put it in the comments, and then everybody can, I'll put it in the chat. Should be able to see it. So it says it cannot post to some channels. It went to YouTube and it went to Facebook. Yes. So let's stop the share. Show the chats on screen. That's my restream.io. That's me chatting. But that's the location of that blog post. littlebluehouse.ca/ the role of human resources with a dash in between each one. So I say go read that, because I spent a lot of time writing that article and I've improved it a few times. That's really great. I think I'm done for today. We've been on for an hour and 47 minutes. Thank you to my big sister Joy for making some comments. We were able to get some conversation out of that, so that's awesome. If you need to book a meeting with me for HR reasons, Indigenous Relations reasons, or you want to do some sort of networking, or if you want to join my lives sometime, we can talk about your business, get you some free advertising for your business, and maybe I'll ask you a few questions. Maybe we'll just have a random chat, and we can choose different days depending on what your business is like, right, or what you do. Use this link here that goes to my calendar scheduling. So go ahead and use that. If you liked what you saw today or learned a few things, please use this QR code to give me a Google review. Give me that 5-star review. I'm always looking for 5-star reviews. So, I mean, if you got any sort of value out of this live stream, that's a 5-star review, man. Right there. So I'll leave that up for a second, or you can rewind it later. But because my sister's online, she was watching. I don't know if she's still watching, but her crafting business called Unbound Creations. These are Indigenous crafts, and well, they're all Indigenous crafts because my sister's Indigenous. But she does a lot of other things, 3D printing. My niece does stickers. They make a few other products and things like that. And see this dragon behind me? This green dragon with the gold tips. Oh yeah. That I purchased from my sister last weekend in Westlock. Oh my god, this is so cool. You can hear it jingling there. So go ahead. This is a link to her Facebook group, so you can join the group and see her wares and, you know, spend some money. If you're like my sister who's selling something, if you got something that you're selling, especially if you're an Indigenous artist, I think you should join Whatnot. This is the link here. It's like this. You go live, you say, I got this product for sale. It's $20. And I start an auction at $20, and maybe you sell it for 30. Who knows? But with Whatnot, when you join Whatnot with this QR code right here, they're going to match your first $150 in sales in the first week. So click on this, join up, sell more than $150 worth of stuff, and Whatnot will give you another $150. So you'll make $300 in your first week if you can get on there and start selling. So anyway, I'll close that off. And close that off too. Hey, thanks everybody. As always, my name is Ian Hopfe. I'm an HR consultant and Indigenous Relations consultant. It was nice spending time with everybody. I'll talk to you later. I'm going to shut down this stream. Okay, bye.